believe most of our registrations have come in. So welcome everyone again to our webinar. My name is Miguel from EnspireTech. I'll be your moderator today. So today we'll be actually going through the latest feature that's happening in our EasiShare V11. Yeah. So for those who have actually little to no clue what EasiShare or who EnspireTech is, I'll just quickly give you a snapshot of who we are, and then I'll then pass on the mic to Takeaway, our presenter today. So yep. So InspireTech is actually a home Singapore growing company started in 2000. We are headquartered in Singapore, and our business span across in Middle East and South Asia. So, and our development centers are found in both Russia and Indonesia. The four logos that you have seen at the bottom of the slide is actually our products: EasyShare, GigaCentral, Easy SMS, and Rapid SMS. And however, today we'll be focusing on EasyShare, and some might know what it is, but I'll just give you just a short summary of what EasyShare is. It's actually an enterprise file security solution using a single platform to manage, share, and govern files anywhere, anytime securely. So right now, I'll actually now pass the stage to our product manager, Takeaway. He will be giving more details on our latest feature. So Takeaway, please.
Yep, thank you, Miguel. Hi, my name is Takeaway. So I'm the product manager of EasyShare, and very happy to see some of our existing customers and partners, as well as some of the others in the audience. So let me just start with a journey of like in the recent years, what has happened to the product, right? So in version 9, that was around 2019, we started adding certain enhancements, some special mentions such as document tagging that allows documents to be tagged to certain tag values that result then able to be controlled through policies. There's also improvements to our links. So some of our older customers might remember that in the past, we have a particular type of link for our EasyShare desktop, and then another type of HTTP link for our web portal that has also been standardized to use the latest HTTP method, something like what you experience when you come in through Zoom or Teams. And as well, we also added some controls such as download attempt limits. And last year, for those who have attended our webinar as well, we mentioned some enhancements. In particular, we would like to highlight like access, review, workflow, and monitor. And in fact, while the title of this webinar is our new updates for V11, we thought that it might be good to also recap some of the features that we introduced more recently towards the end of V10, earlier this part of the year. And then after that, we add on some of the other features. And we selected 4 features, splitting them into users and IT admins. So on the left, the user side, we have the monitor workflow, and on the right is access, review, and OAuth, OTP kind of concepts. So I'll jump off first with the users part. In this feature that we call workflow, what we are really adding is that when a file sharing process is triggered, there is an added layer for the data owners to approve before the actual file sharing actually happens. So what are the benefits of why we designed this feature, right? First is to ensure better file governance so that the data owner has a chance to review the file sharing activities before it actually happened. Second is then sometimes we know that there might be human error and then sensitive files are being leaked. So I'll jump into like what happens in the scenarios that I just mentioned, right? So without EasyShare, or rather like without this feature, the original risk is that careless or malicious. So sometimes it might not be a deliberate attempt. It might just be a careless employee that attempted to share a file that is not meant to be shared. And then that results in, unfortunately, unauthorized parties or malicious actors being able to access sensitive files. And then this is the risk that we see very frequently in recent years. And that's the reason why we added this feature. So in this feature, what happens now is that When a user wants to share a file in EasyShare, there is an added control that the data owner has to verify, check the file, and make sure that it's to the correct recipient before the file is shared to the external party. So in this case, now the added layer is really serve as a second level of verification to ensure that file sharing activities are intended for the right recipients. Now, at this moment, I would just like to switch my screen to our YouTube channel. So in here, what I'm going to show you is a recorded video of how this feature works. And I would like to also take this opportunity to introduce you to our YouTube channel that we have added a lot of content over the past few years as well, and in even more so in recent years when we had more content delivery through such channels. So you can do a search on YouTube on EasyShare, and then you can locate our channel here. Like, okay, and you can subscribe.
Do you need to share large?
Now, when you go to the playlist here, the one that I want to introduce you today is this EasyShare tutorial. So this is the part where over the past year, we have created a lot of content so that our partners, customers, or other prospective users can take a look at how the product works. So I'll just play the
Hi there. As a
first
data
feature, which is for workflow today. Let me just put it to full screen. And yep, I'll play this video.
Hi there. As a data owner, do you find it challenging to have visibility about how data under your charge are shared? In this video, we will show you how our new EasyShare workflow feature can help to enforce a review before data is being shared, helping to protect your data. So how do we create a workflow? Workflow can be created by data owners to protect sensitive information. First, select the file or folder. Right-click on it, select Create Workflow. Here, you will see the list of data owners that have the authority to approve the sharing process. You can now decide how many owners are required to approve the process. Here, I select both John Smith and Jane Brown. You will have the option to choose All Must Approve or Anyone Can Approve in order for the data to be shared. Here, I select Anyone Can Approve and click on Apply. Once the workflow process has been successfully created, the folders of file will appear under your profile, Manage Workflows. Now a colleague, Kate Allen, is attempting to share the sensitive data. She right-clicks on the folder and clicks on Share. She will be alerted that she needs to get approval from the data owners in order to share the information with the next party. She will have to click on Proceed, fills in the recipient details, and then click on Share. The data owners will then receive an email notification to alert them that Kate Allen is requesting to share the file. They can choose to approve or reject the request. Next, in the event when users do not receive any response from the data owners, they can go to Shared Folder, click on Pending, Recipient, select the folder, and then click on Send Reminder. The data owners will then receive another round of email notification to approve or reject the request. Data owners are also able to view a list of pending share approvals by going to their profile, Review Share Requests. With this new feature, your organization's sensitive data can now be well protected. Try EasyShare today. Visit www.easyshare.com. Hi there. Hi there. Do you find...
Okay, just let me switch back to my slides. Yeah, and so that's how our first feature works. Next, I will go on to the second feature that is targeted for end users. We call this feature Monitor. What it does is that it allows the EasyShare user to track a particular file or some of the folders it's in order to receive timely updates in case there are any new uploads or changes to the files or deletion to the files. What we intend this feature to do is really to improve team productivity and efficiency through this process. So a little bit more details on the scenario that we thought of when designing this feature. The pinpoint that we were looking at and analyzing when designing this feature is really the case that even ourselves as users of EasyShare experience, when we collaborate with our colleagues and perhaps we need our colleagues to reply or update the file and put in some comments or put in another section that they're working on, then you realize that, oh, sometimes there seems to be no response. Maybe they have updated, maybe they have not updated, maybe a lot of possibilities, and then extra time is required. You have to go to the respective colleagues and ask them, like, oh, did you manage to get the file? Did you manage to update the file? And then we have all this time wasted on just this kind of conversations and not very positive for productivity. Now, with this feature, what the EasiShare users can now do is that they can select the files or folders that they want to monitor. And when they have these collaborations and the colleagues have updated, commented on the files that they are collaborating on, the originating user that has marked the files or folders to be monitored will receive an email notification. So that's really the pain point and the objective that is taken into consideration when we design this feature. And with that, now I would like to continue with our YouTube tutorial for the second video that is on the monitor feature. So just let me move to the screen here. And
Hi there. Do you find it difficult to monitor changes made to collaborated files or folders? In this video, we will highlight how users can easily monitor changes through our new EasyShare monitor feature. So how do we monitor a file or a folder? First, select the folder that you want to monitor, right-click on it and then choose Monitor. Here, you will see the different monitor options. I will select File Modified. Then you select the frequency you would like to receive an alert when a change is made. I will select Immediately. Lastly, under When, you can further narrow down the type of changes you wish to monitor. Here, I select Any Changes and click on Monitor. To view all the folders and files that you are monitoring, go to Quick Access and click on Monitoring. Here, you will see the invoice folder and all the other files and folders that you are monitoring. Now a colleague, John Smith, is attempting to modify a file under the invoice folder. He changes the invoice number and saves the file. You will now receive an email notification to alert you of the change he has made. With this new monitor feature, EasyShare can help you to collaborate effortlessly. Try EasyShare today. Visit www.easyshare.com.
all right, let me move back to my slides. Okay, so that's really the first two features, mostly centric around end users. And for some of our customers and partners that have been attending our webinars, you know that EasyShare is really an enterprise file security solution. So we started off just as sharing. Increasingly, we noticed the value of security and the concerns surrounding file security. And now we are a enterprise file security platform, as Miguel has mentioned earlier as well, focusing also on the governance side of things, which is the purpose of these two additional features really, in terms of the workflow process, as well as the monitor. Now, our customers will also know that we are not just about how end users use EasyShare. We also think of our product from the IT administrators. So a lot of our customers are the IT administrators in their organization as well, and they look at security. So the third feature that we really added is it's not so much a new feature, rather enhancements. So what do I mean is that we noticed that in the authentication space, there is technology such as OAuth, as well as the new methods of OTP that is coming in the market. And so we would like to have that in EasyShare as well. So the benefits of this is to enhance the overall file security and how we approach the multi-factor authentication, as well as to be able to deliver a more seamless user journey in terms of the authentication process itself. Now, how does this look like? We have two parts here. The first is in terms of how a user log into EasyShare. And for those who are familiar with EasyShare, you will know that authentication can happen on the EasyShare account level, or we also have integration to Microsoft Active Directory, which is really a given for any software products nowadays. On top of that, the icon that you see in gray and blackish, that signifies our 2FA. So in our existing product, not so much existing, but rather previously before we enhanced this, we already have this 2FA as well. And then we also talk about the verification of external recipients during file sharing. And in this space, we have started with SMS, and then we can have the WhatsApp. So these two are the channels whereby the external recipients receive the one-time PIN when we have that external file sharing use case. And the purpose is really to verify that these are indeed the parties that should have access to the files. So these are the what we had originally. What we did recently is to enhance it. So we added Azure Active Directory, which is slightly different from Microsoft Active Directory, the one that's on-prem. And as well as we also added SingPass. So for customers in Singapore, very familiar with SingPass, as well as the government is also promoting the usage of this as a way of authenticating to applications. So we have adopted that as well. Over at the external recipients part for file sharing authentication, we noticed that the popularity of Google Authenticator and Microsoft Authenticator. So we have added support for these two mechanisms itself. So these are actually not, Google Authenticator and Microsoft Authenticator are really made more popular recently because of a lot of cyber threats, and then people are talking about more means to have that multi-factor authentication experience as seamless as possible. So just sharing with you some of the how our screen looks like. On the top, it's really our login screens. Now we have two more components that can be added upon additional configurations. And then over at the bottom, traditionally, we only had the option to do SMS and WhatsApp. Now we have this process whereby you can register a device through the QR code that you see, and then from there on, you will no longer need the WhatsApp and SMS way, and you can actually use the authenticator way to do that verification. So this covers a wider range of methods that can be used to have that level of security and verification process. And we hope that this will help our customers enhance their experience using EasiShare as well. And finally, the fourth feature that I'm sharing today, it's marked as IT admins, but actually this part is really the responsibility of all users. Just that like some of you in this webinar, you might be the IT administrators of file systems, and very often this process somehow lies with you for one reason or another, which is the control of periodic access review. So let me share a little bit about this feature, not in EasiShare context. I think this is very relatable to a lot of people, whereby there had always been this recommended control to do this periodic review of user access rights. And traditionally, when I first started out in the audit line, right, people generally do it maybe once a year. And then after that, even so, the process itself was pretty painful. And often there's a lot of coordinations that are required. And when we design this feature, right, back to the feature, is that the benefits that we want our customers to experience is to ensure the user privileges are updated timely, so as to prevent any gaps and loopholes that the system might have due to outdated access control. So a little bit elaboration of the scenario that I wanted to say, how it used to be. What I saw was a lot of IT administrators, like they have to do this access review process. And what they have to do is that, I'll add a little bit more on top of the diagram. IT administrators need to generate out the report, send to the data owners or product owners to have them review the system access and controls. And then it might be done via email. Sometimes some of the owners, they might not reply the email. Sometimes they thought that they reviewed it, but then they realized that, oh, the report was an outdated version, and then there is all this miscommunication and ding dong ongoing. And this really helps no one, right? We can blame that it's the IT's fault. You can blame that, oh, the system owner didn't communicate well. We can blame each other for this, but the reality is that sometimes when access controls are not updated, then this leaves an exposure for some of the risk that breaches happen due to this outdated access. And what in EasiShare we want to do is to allow for the IT administrators to trigger the access review within the EasiShare environment as well. Then when the data owner starts reviewing this access, they are really looking at it within the system, very up-to-date reports, no separate ding-dongs of emails that they need to do. Once they look through the access controls and they decide which ones to retain and which ones to delete, they can click within EasiShare itself, and then the access is automatically updated. Then the records of all this review and stuff is all kept within EasiShare for audit purposes in our admin portal. So this one, we do have an upcoming details of the videos. So if you are interested to find out more about this feature, come talk to us. We can do a demo, as well as when the video is ready, we can also share it with the audience today about the details of how this feature works. And with that, that is really the gist of the 4 key features that I wanted to share today. The next part of the webinar, I would like to go back to a little bit of what I shared last year with regards to our product strategy. We know that increasingly the market demands is that solutions no longer stand isolated. Customers are expecting solutions to work with other solutions together to deliver a more holistic solutions to the problems that they're facing. So we have constantly been working with multiple partners, and just a quick update of some of the successes and deployments that we did recently. So the first quick sharing here I have is that we have this partnership with a company called Tiger. They are an AI-driven company focusing on search and indexing. So if you notice, the title of this use case is about modernizing file management and file transfer practices. So what are the challenges that this particular customer faced that needed both the solutions to come together, right? Is that they actually have multiple repositories, or so you said. So you can imagine that they have data across multiple different types of storages or different places. And the indexing and searching of the files are just not consistent. So they need to go to different parts to find the data. And what they really need is sort of like a Google search kind of thing, but they can't really be using Google, because if your corporate data are meant to be private, then you kind of like can't be indexing this onto Google. But yet you want to have that Google experience when you want to search for information within your organization. Now, then the added requirement of this scenario is that they also have concern about file transfer practices and file access control. And then that's where EasiShare comes in, because EasiShare with the permissioning controls and the access controls, it fits these requirements well. Now, with these two solutions coming in together, what the users can experience now is that they can have this search experience like a Google for their corporate data through sort of like a single repository supported by EasiShare. Of course, the indexing and the search engine is by Tiger. And then as well as there is this process whereby they throw public data into their system so that their internal repository can be updated. And that process itself is supported by a slight customization that our EasiShare team did for the customer, so that there is some SFTP processes and some automation in terms of how a externally crawled data can be securely put into this central repository, so that internally the internal users can have this single system to securely have the data or information that comes from external, as well as searching through internally generated information and data to have that modernized file management and file transfer process. Okay, and we have the resources here, so you can visit the link below, or feel free to reach out to any one of us to find out more about this use case if you have such a challenge as well. Okay, and the second partner that we wanted to highlight is Cohesity. So this is one of the data management partner that we have been working with closely for about 1 year plus now, about 1 to 2 years. And this Cohesity is really about redefining data management. And in fact, they are a leader in the Gartner's Magic Quadrant for the backup and recovery space. However, the solution is beyond just backup and recovery. They are really about data management and what we call as secondary data component. So a lot of use cases revolving around archival backup, scalability issues, ensuring that customers get the best value out of the storages that they are using. So for this itself, we do have a use case also, titled Limitless Storage Scaling with Files and Objects. In this particular scenario, the challenge that we are trying to solve is the data growth due to file sharing activities, backups, archival, and nowadays also analytics. So how we approach this case is that we notice that a lot of traditional NAS, they tend to run into scalability issues, which often ends up with very high cost of maintenance and a lot of inefficiencies in the data management process itself. And when both Cohesity and EasiShare solutions comes in, is that this integration will allow sync and share activities and antivirus. So for those who are familiar with EasiShare, we have the antivirus component as well. So this tool and any analytics workload or even some other workloads can actually sit on this single platform supported by Cohesity. Then the scalable data platform offered by Cohesity can then take care of the data backups and archival centrally within this solution as well. And similarly, if you would like to find out more, we have solution briefs and some of the videos that's available. You can take a look at the links. And for more details, you can reach out to us to find out more as well. And at this moment, I have come to the end of this quick product update that we have. Just a little bit of elaboration over the two partners that we have selected for sharing today, right? You will notice that we are all really in the space of data management growth. Now, what's the difference is that, like what I've always encouraged, we have to understand the challenges of each environment. So for example, in the Tiger case that I mentioned earlier, the pain point for the customers is more towards searching for data, and the data that they work with is a lot of PDFs, a lot of Word documents or PowerPoint or HTML articles. So their concern is not so much about the size. So they are more concerned about the indexing. So in that case, then for EasiShare to work with Tiger to provide a solution, it's more suitable. And now in the second part about Cohesity, we are really more towards large data size. So it can be running into terabytes or even petabytes nowadays we are talking about. And in that case, then we need a good data management platform. Cohesity is a data management platform. Then all the other applications and systems might have to sit on top of it to ensure that the scalability and that cost effectiveness comes into play. Okay, so the specific challenges will really drive the solution, and that's why, in fact, if you have problems that spans both large data sets and as well as search and indexing issues, then you might be looking at EasiShare, Cohesity, and Tiger together. And what we come in as InspireTech, the strategy that we comes in is that to solve our customers' problems, we want to have as many solutions on our hand as possible, and then we mix and match and tweak the solutions according to our customers' needs so as to deliver the best solution based on the challenges and needs from our customers. And with that, come to the end of the presentation part of the webinar, and like to pass the time back to Miguel.
Okay, thank you, Taewei. I will now switch my screen over. So now, actually, I do have a question that I would like to pose to everyone, and maybe at the same time, Taewei, there's actually a few questions from the audience. So maybe at the same time, while you guys are polling, Taewei can take on the question. Let me actually launch the poll so that everybody can poll. So basically, this poll is trying to get the interest from you guys, like the new features that actually Takeaway presented. Which features interest you the most? You can select multiple of them, and while you guys are polling ahead, I will get Takeaway to actually answer some questions. So Takeaway, I think the first question comes from and Max have actually answered this. Is that um, does it mean that the QR code can be replaced with OTP code? I think this is related to the specific OAuth and OTP feature.
Okay. So how the process works is the QR code is the first time only. We use the QR code to feed a sort of like a key so that the authenticator app can match in with the EasyShare system. So the QR code is really the first time experience only to sort of have that device registration process. And during the device registration process, right, we will also still need to use our SMS or WhatsApp as the first point of contact. What it facilitates more is the subsequent one, because subsequently then they can just rely on the code generated from the app itself. And I also saw this part about internet connection. So as far as I understand, the process doesn't need internet because the authenticator app just have an algorithm. So in fact, the same QR code can be used by Microsoft Authenticator or Google Authenticator. How this technology works is that the QR code signifies kind of like a key exchange process for the device registration, and subsequently, based on that and the algorithms in this space, we can know what is the expected OTP based on that key, and it works fine without internet connection as well. The key is really that key exchange that is in the process.
I hope it answers the audience question. And also, I think the second question that we have is from Andy, and he's wondering whether maybe you can give us a brief information on the Tiger integration, the Google-like experience. Whether can it be done on-prem and without any internet connection? We just want to have some information on that.
Yeah. I think our solution brief and videos does give an idea. And then to answer this question, I'll give a little bit more elaboration. The solution itself is exactly to be an on-premise kind of Google. And it's also not exactly Google because Tiger Solutions does have capabilities on text extraction, what we also call ontology, right? Which is a search that is not just keyword search, it's also relationships search. For example, when you search for InspireTech, you might also want to see who has worked with InspireTech, or like the partnerships that InspireTech have, that kind of relational search. And that is that capability that Tiger brings in. And so for the particular project that we have worked on, it's precisely in-house kind of Google kind of experience. And it's really that reason, right? Because we have all this search experience that we have from Google and previously or currently still like Yahoo and stuff. Users are increasingly wanting this kind of experience within their corporate walls as well. And the existing systems, while they have some search, including like EasiShare has like the keyword search on the file name. It's just the basic portion. We see that organizations, especially larger organizations, they want to have this kind of capabilities in-house as well. Particularly useful when the data that they want to search for, they do not want to make it public. So for example, it could be internal R&D efforts, or could be, let's say you are in a marketing department, you just want to search through some of the marketing assets that internally have been developed, but not everything might have been published yet. There might be some other work in progress that for research purpose just want to have it. And in this kind of use case, that's where EasiShare and Tiger comes together to offer it, with EasiShare coming in to handle the permissions as well. So Tiger handle the index and search, and then EasiShare coming in with the access control, the audit trail of the file sharing activities and stuff. So this is one of the very complementary systems between both companies. And actually we have live projects that have been implemented as well. So to find out more, we can have that conversation after the webinar as well.
And probably the last question from the audience is, can we disable or, make the SIM-Pass or Microsoft Authenticator, the login disappear, invisible from the login page display? So,
Yes, definitely. So it is designed to be able to tweak what are the specific ones that we want to expose to users. So in fact, currently for our own production, right, sg.easyshare.com, we have not put it to everyone yet because it's a multi-tenanted system, and we have our own private channels to test out the SingPass. But yeah, the quick answer to that question is that that will be the case.
David, do you happen to have any demo that you can show? Maybe is it true? Maybe we can show the SG EasyShare that login page.
Not at the moment because the systems are on-prem lah.
Okay, can.
Yeah, we can explore doing some additional content in future next time.
Okay, sure. So I think as we are coming closer to the webinar, anyway, Takeaway, thanks for the answering all the questions. Any questions that you all have, probably we can take it offline, and we'll definitely have a feedback form coming up after this webinar. So if you do have any questions, just drop it in. Before I wrap everything up, I just would like to actually share some of the this IT leadership webinar series that we have. That is actually there'll be showcasing some of the past webinars that we have with our technology partners. And if you are interested, you can scan the QR code provided here, or just highlight your interest again at the feedback form itself, and I'll personally send it to you. And I would like to also highlight the upcoming webinar that we are having. This webinar is actually for both partners and end users as well. We'll be actually touching on how EasyShare can actually strengthen your existing SharePoint environment. Yeah, and if you're interested, you can actually highlight that interest in the feedback form. So actually this webinar will be holding on in July for partners and in August for end users. So, and lastly, if you have not followed us on social media, you can follow us on any of these platforms. And yep, I would like to again highlight, if you have any questions, there's a feedback form coming right up after you exit the webinar, and we will appreciate every feedback that you have. And if you have any further questions, just type it in. Yeah, so actually that's all for our webinar today. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much. Thanks, Away.